teach the art.
Cause they never had this.
Number one, never wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome of public enemy. Use, abuse without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
I was talking to you about this speech, and this is not the first, second, third, fourth, 100th, 1,000th time that Trump has told us that if he's back in power, he's going to deputize the police to have immunity to harm protesters, to double down on people, even if they are quote unquote criminals. They're innocent until proven guilty. These are the laws that we have. He's trying to say Kamala Harris, lowered the amount to like $900 that you could steal without it being a felony or whatever when she was the AG in California. So people are showing up to steal with calculators. I've never seen that. But he's making all of these scenarios. But his point is, if I'm in charge, the police will get to it, just give them one night to just do horrible things to people, and that will solve our problems. And there are people who are like, yes, we want to see that. But it's happened before, and it never ended well. It never ended well, especially for the people who are oppressed. Especially for the oppressed.
Because when you're already a marginalized group where everything in your society says that you are suspect and you have to prove that you're worthy, then making you into a criminal, even when you're innocent, is the easiest thing in the world. So the fact that Trump is being as bold as he is in saying these kinds of things lets you know that he knows that the entire normal workings of our society are behind him, as long as the people who suffer the most are the people who are already the ones with the least power. That's the reason we have to bind together and use people power to actually push towards something like decency in this country. Because when things work the way that they've been designed to work, indecency is the direction we're headed. Make no mistake. And because we lie to ourselves as Americans and act as if decency can naturally happen, that's how we get in these situations where we don't think we need to be heavily involved in creating the decency we want to see. The fact that he can say this so boldly lets you know that he understands American culture better than most of the people who call themselves good and decent.
Oh, my goodness. You are so spot on. All right, let's take some calls. Wayne in North Carolina is holding. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Dr. Mitchell is here. Hi.
Yes. Hi. It's a pleasure to be on your show today. And thank you, Doc, for what you guys are discussing. My question is, and I think is in line with what you're discussing as it relates to the foundation of the creating of the minds of biases, as relates to the pigmentally challenged people, the eugenics that is very seldom ever talked about, or even, I don't even know if attorneys ever go into a class where eugenics is discussed. As relates to, which is the foundation to this country's structure and development, and from its religious beliefs on to what you guys are discussing today.
Well, as you talk about eugenics, I mean, eugenics only comes into place when you can't use the labor of the people, or you want, it's like, okay, I've used you up, now let's kill you. It's like, oh, thank you for helping us survive the winters, all of these winters. Here's some smallpox. That didn't get rid of, okay. Trail of Tears. Oh, that didn't, okay. Reservations. Okay. All right, here you go. It's like, go away now. Thank you for helping us build all of this. Thank you. Oh, we've raped you into coffee ole black people, but you're still black. And we want you to, here's Liberia. Oh, there were people there already in Africa and Liberia? We're going to call it Liberia. And now they can't be citizens in their own country. Like, this, man, at some point, Dr. Mitchell, we have to have these conversations, because it's so wrong fundamentally that we can never be right if we don't at least tell the truth.
And, I love the fact that Wayne in North Carolina put it in these terms of eugenics, because it also allows us to recognize how much we are, again, drenched in discourses and practices that convince us that there's a very narrow definition of humanity. There's a very narrow definition of human beings who are worthy of taking up space, who are worthy of resources. And so to think about eugenics allows us to think about how narrow this idea that goes back to your point about Kristallnacht, right? This idea about a superior Aryan race is linked to this eugenics that's limiting a very small slither of humanity as being worthy. And the more we buy into citizenship, and the only reason I deserve to be able to have health care is because I'm a citizen and we need to get rid of the immigrants. Anytime you're aligning with that kind of mentality, you're basically aligning with citizenship as exclusion and eugenics as exclusion. All of these things are about exclusion rather than more rights for more people.
Ashe, you're absolutely right. And it also requires us to be at a level of ignorance to not even understand basic biology. That a nation of
Recessive
you
genes,
want
you
to
mean?
create recessive gene and then call that it makes no sense. But you've put yourself into a corner in a box that you can't really get out of logically. So let me kill everybody who might know the truth.
Seriously.
There was a TikTok when we were talking about immigration. This lady was doing, you know how people talk to themselves and these things, you know, you'll see like different sides. So the lady said, I'm leaving the country if Trump loses. If Trump loses, I'm leaving. So on the other side, she was like, so you're going to go to another country and seek asylum because you don't feel safe in this country. Yeah. If he loses, I don't feel safe. So you're going to go to another country as a refugee because you don't feel safe in the country that you're in.
Yeah.
And it's like, ding, ding, ding. Yes, that people are coming. They're not coming here because they want to rape you and steal your job and take your black job. They're coming here because something happened. And even worse, unlike Trump winning or losing, the something that usually happened in their country, we caused this country through our policies. So, you know, at some point, compassion has to take over. Dr. Mitchell, I don't know what it's going to take, but this is unsustainable.
The thing that strikes me too about how easily we accept the narratives that are based in fear and manipulate us because of our fear. Part of what is so interesting to think about with that is how stories are told that actually nature flies in the face of it, but we therefore just tell a harder and harder story. So like when you gave the example about recessive genes and making blue eyes, blonde hair the most prized thing, basically what you have to do is create a story around blue eyes, blonde hair, create a story that's more powerful than those recessive genes. But you're doubling down on the story because you want to go against what nature has done. Nature has said that the more prolific, the more surviving, striving genes are the melanin and the dark hair and all of that. That's what nature says. But because you want to make blue and blonde the higher thing, your story, your mythology has to be doubled down on over and over again, and then backed up with violence over and over again, and backed up with the violence of demonizing Black and brown people over and over again. That's how much the story has to go in counter to nature.
To the point that you have Black and brown people bleaching their skin.
Exactly. And we
whole
export
nations of Black and brown people.
Yeah. And you're in a Black and brown country where people are bleaching their skin because you're exporting, because you double down on the lie, you double down on the discursive violence of that. You double down, you use power, you use denigration, you use military might as well. You use all of that to make this false into a lived truth that hurts people rather than uplifts them.
And then what you find in opposition to that, right? So if I'm Black and brown, you're going to say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud, right? We're going to double down on natural hair and black and Afro picks. You know, there was a whole, we're back in that period because history rhymes, right? So we had that in the 70s and the 60s, coming out of civil rights movement. We had this black Panther, black everything. And I'm sure white people were like, oh my God. It's like, what do we do with this? And then, you know, now we're back where everything DEI is bad, right? So it waxes and wanes because the reaction to you telling me I don't exist, or I'm not valuable, or I'm not smart, or I'm not pretty, or I'm not, is I'm going to find my way to pretty, smart, all of those things. And I'm going to probably go over the top with it. You know, I'm going to be extra black and extra, you know, determined to let the world know that I am good enough. You know, but then that puts the other people like, oh, all this black stuff. Every place I look is black, you know.
But again, it's never equal though. The back and forth is never equal because the power differential comes with the violence that we've been experiencing. And the truth is, all of this for me is Black life just is, and whiteness attacks it. That has been the story since the beginning of creating this construct of whiteness and Blackness. Black life just was trying to live. And because of unjust subjugation, white violence had to bludgeon just simply Black existence. So I don't think the back and forth is ever, you know, it's never the same.
No, I'm just, to them, it feels like, it's like, you know, the Cheerios commercial. Oh, every place I look, it's black people and the white. They're sullying our. You know, it's like, but it's a reaction to the disappearance of us. So we're showing up. Anyway, it's just interesting. I'm always trying to sit in other people. I don't know why I do this, but I always try to sit in other people's shoes and sit in other people's positions because I don't want to just be right. Now, of course, I want to be right, Dr. Mitchell. I want to be right. But I don't want to be right just for the sake of being right. I want to actually have thought about how you feel about a thing and how you arrived at that place so that I can really double down on me being right. Okay, let me go to Deborah. You know, you want to examine all of the positions.
I'm gonna raise this street to teach the
You still they never had this.
Number one, never wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without clues. I refuse